The lawlessness continues in California. This brand new video released is just a taste of what is happening in retail stores across the state. You can see two men casually walking out of this TJ Maxx with arms full of stolen goods, seemingly with no fear of arrest or prosecution. Stores like Target and Walgreens also shutting down in California. Cities say they are losing money due to the organized retail crime. But California Governor Gavin Newsom says, don't believe your eyes. Everything's just fine.
Well, the evidence doesn't back it up. The last 3 decades, we've actually seen a significant decline in crime in the state. You're seeing crime increase in red states that had no criminal justice reform commensurate with the crime rates that we're seeing here in California, particularly as it relates to gun-related crimes. So I think that's an easy scapegoat for folks, people that never supported those initiatives in the first place.
It's the fault of the red states, according to the governor of California, even though this is happening in mostly blue cities across the country. So how did we get here and how it can be undone? Here now with me, former Assistant U.S. Attorney, National Review columnist, and Fox News contributor Andy McCarthy. Andy, it's so questionable what Governor Newsom is doing. You notice how he referred to the last 3 decades? It's something that a lot of liberals do. Well, yeah, in New York City, if you go back 28 years, I mean, crime is just plunging. You know, murders are down 77% in the last 28 years. But if you look at the last 2, all of these violent crimes and theft are going up because of liberal policies, because of, say, getting rid of cash bail here in New York. How do you reverse it?
You go back to what we were doing 30 years ago. You know, it's amazing, Dagan, to hear them exploit the statistics that were the really amazing driving down of crime, which gave us record low crime rates and record flourishing economically in this country, when those policies are the very ones that they opposed and the ones that they're undoing in the last couple of years, which is why you're seeing crime skyrocketing. And, you know, look, you're the financial expert, not me, right? But everybody, people act on incentives, and we watch that in the criminal justice system just like we watch it in the financial system. If I have a prosecutor's office and I quietly say among my prosecutors, we're going to have a standard because we have so many theft cases that if it's less than $900, we're not going to prosecute it, but we don't publicize that, then everybody knows if they commit a theft, they're taking their chances, right? But if I publicly announce that we're not going to prosecute theft if it's less than $900, what you're going to find is people going into stores and carrying out, you know, $850 worth of stuff, which is exactly what we're seeing.
Right. I'm not going to fear the consequences because there are none. You're talking about the Proposition 47 in California that was voted where it basically said below $950 of merchandise, we're just not going to really touch you. So crime, you know, theft isn't crime, or crime pays, as I describe it. How did that? They voted for that. So, you know, this is really deep-seated liberalism, and from the governor to mayors to city councils to prosecutors to district attorneys and even to the people who voted for this garbage.
Yeah, well, you know, here's the way a normal prosecutor's office works. You have loose standards for which crimes and, you know, what level of, say, fraud you'll prosecute. And some cases are serious enough that they need to be prosecuted, and some cases are, you know, they rate some kind of diversionary disposition. But you always reserve the right to prosecute even a low-level crime on the basis of other factors. Like, for example, if you have a career criminal who's been arrested 17 times, he's in a different position than somebody who's a first offender. So you don't broadcast what your standards are. And if you write those standards into law, what you're basically telling people is that felony misconduct is actually green-lighted if it's under a certain amount. And if you do that, then you're just promoting lawlessness. And once people get the sense that the rule of law is not projected, the laws are not going to be enforced, then you have utter chaos, which is what we're seeing not only in California, but a number of other places as well.
Across the street, and this has been going on for about a year and a half, even before COVID, there's a drugstore across the street from my apartment, and people just, much of the stuff is locked up, laundry detergent, even ice cream, but what isn't locked up gets stolen, and people are just waltzing out. I saw somebody riding a bicycle. He had robbed some of the stuff from the store and rode right out of the store. But again, I don't know where it ends, because maybe start with Eric Adams, who's the likely mayor here in New York, but he's got a lot to undo to really turn this city around.
We'll see. I'm not as optimistic about him as some of my friends are, but look, what it begins with. What happened 30 years ago, which Newsom wants to refer to but doesn't actually want to talk about, is we enforced quality of life offenses because that projected the image and the idea that the rule of law was in control and that the laws would be enforced. Right. And when you do that, it has a really dimensional effect on law enforcement and keeping the peace.
Right. It was about 5 years ago, the city council in New York ordered the police to stop enforcing quality of life crimes. And much of the city, some gorgeous parks, Washington Square Park, they are open sewers and drug dens. And nobody deserves to live in a neighborhood in a city like that. Not as much as people pay to live here. Andy McCarthy, great to see you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dagan.